Hello again. Sorry, I haven't done a video for 10 days or so, but I've had to pack up my whole study. Floor got resurfaced, and now I've gradually got it all back. It took quite a few days packing and unpacking and getting it all together. But now the floor's done, and hopefully, yeah, I'm back to normal. Well, not quite. So today's episode is something I recorded last night. Now, you may all well know Chris van Well, he and I have been friends for quite a long time now. And some months ago, we thought that we might do a weekly chat. So last night was our first effort. It's a bit rough and ready. But as we say in the video, look, we're going to get more polished as time goes on. So I hope you enjoy it. We just ad-lib most of it. So here we go. And thank you very much. Hello there, everybody. I'm the grumpy old man with his EV, if you want to look me up on YouTube. And with me today is Chris van Hello, Chris.
Hello, Nigel. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No, I think that this is great. We can do this maybe once a week or so. We'll get together and have a chat regarding a few things that have caught our interest or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. Definitely.
Or whatever. Yeah, we can just have a friendly little chin wag if you like.
Yeah, all good.
So you said you wanted me to go first with something.
Well, it's up
Right.
it's up to you. No pressure.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll just alternate or something. So look, I've got something here that just got my interest because there's been a lot of talk about EV fires.
Oh, yes.
And there was something over was it Victoria, about an underground car park under a hospital that said no EVs allowed to park here because they might burn the hospital down.
Oh,
Was it there?
I haven't heard about that, but I do know that at the place I work at, that they have told vehicle owners to not plug into any wall socket they find because there's some advantageous charging going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically stealing electricity, if you like.
Yeah.
But there was one where they've got car chargers out in the outside car park, but you're not allowed to park your EV in the underground car park. And then I saw this article, and this was in a German, I don't know what the ADAC is, but in ferries going into Greece, they've stopped EVs going on where they've got a charge of more than 40% state of charge on their batteries.
And the science behind that is what now?
Well, yeah, I wasn't too sure about that. So, I mean, if we just go and look down, they've got batteries of e-cars and plug-in hybrids may only be charged to 40%. So there's something also here about natural gas and LPG vehicles. They must not be more than 50%.
What the heck?
Yeah, I know. This just smacks of people dreaming up rules and regulations for the sake of it because it sounds good, with absolutely no scientific basis behind it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure what they're worried about is EV fires, and we all know about EV fires and how prevalent they are. But the trouble is, you see, if you're going from Germany and you're getting the ferry across to Greece, there's no chargers in Greece. You know, they've only got 2,000 charging points in the whole of Greece.
Wow.
And they're all down south and around Athens.
Okay. All consolidated. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just ridiculous.
I do find because the risk, let's face it, we know that EV fires are like only 1 in 20 compared to petrol. So the risk is so much less. But okay, on a risk basis, anything that's got something that could combust or ignite, like petrol, doesn't matter what the volume is, it could still catch a light. So
yeah.
what do they think?
The insurers who insure cars actually work out how many EV fires there are, and you see here battery electric vehicles are a tiny, minute part of the total. Hybrid seemed to be a lot worse, according to that. But there was an interesting study that I came across from Sweden, actually, where they've been looking at number of fires and what have you that's been going on, and they have done some calculations, and combustion powered vehicles are 29 times more likely to catch fire. This is in Sweden, which is about what I was expecting. I've actually come across studies that have shown anything from 19 to 63 times more likely for a combustion powered vehicle to be catching fire compared to an electric vehicle. I mean, in Australia, we've only had 6 electric vehicle fires, and they were 2 was crashed Teslas, 1 was arson, 1 hit a transmission axle or something in the road that punctured the battery. So there's a lot.
Yes, exactly.
An absolutely huge amount of electric vehicle fires on there. Now, I'm being a bit sarcastic, obviously.
Yeah, because one of the things that doesn't come out in the data is that in Australia, where there is a database around fires that's maintained by this company, well, not a company, organization in New South Wales, a lot of fires sometimes are not actually reported. And it's believed in every state, such as Victoria and New South Wales and Queensland, where there's a lot more cars, there's about 20 car fires per day. And around the country, you could sort of extrapolate that out to be maybe almost 100 fires per day. There's probably a bit of an exaggeration. And of course, do any of those petrol, ice car fires make the news? No.
I've just read an article that said in America there is a car fire every 5 minutes.
Wow.
But none of those, as you say, will make the news. But one of them was a Tesla. Yes. Oh, that's got to be front page news, hasn't it? That's the lead article in your 6 o'clock news story.
Definitely. Yeah. And we'll put autopilot to blame for that one.
Yes, obviously.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that just, where is the science behind only 40% charge to put your vehicle on the ferry?
Yeah, well, if you give me a sec, I'm pretty certain that under Australian maritime rules and regulations, whatever they're called, supposedly there's temperature checking now of battery electric vehicles as they board onto like car ferries, like the Spirit of Tasmania say. And I'll just go quickly search it and I'll see if I can find something good. Battery EV temp check. Australia. Talk amongst yourselves for a second, folks.
I'll just talk to myself then.
Yeah, exactly.
There was also something I remember about EVs on ferries are being put at one end, so if they do catch fire, they can push them off into the ocean.
Okay, right.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, they're very dangerous. I mean, they catch fire all the time.
Yeah. This is interesting. All right, I'll see if I can share my screen. Oh, the technology. Be fearful, people, as I try to do some sharing of my screen. All right, here you go. You can see that, yeah? So this is by Stan Gorton, who's becoming quite prevalent in the electric vehicle media space, and I've seen him a lot on the Facebook forums and stuff. And that's his Polestar, Polestar 2 that he's been driving around everywhere. Like, I salute you. I don't know how you do that, Stan. Anyway, and they've introduced a new procedure for electric vehicles being transported to the Kangaroo Island, and that includes to identify and mitigate battery risk by doing a temperature check. And I believe it's about 50 degrees or something. And if it's above 50 degrees, they're not going to let you on. And I'd hate to think how hot the exhaust pipes and the manifolds that make up internal combustion engines are. Have they ever thought to check them? Just, I'm asking the question here.
Lift the bonnet and let's check the exhaust manifold temperature on your combustion car.
Yep. Yes. So anyway, it's that's the private company, EV Firesafe. They're the guys in New South Wales I was thinking about before.
Yeah, they're quite a good place to go to if you want some information. Just Google EV Firesafe. The girl that runs that, she's a fiery. She's very good and covers quite a few things that are very helpful. But people just ignore the science and the numbers, and they go off and do their own thing. That sort of peed me off a bit when I came across that article. I mean, that was a couple of weeks ago, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let's get off that one, EV fires. Let's move on to something better. Wind farms. Over here in WA, they've got a proposal for a big wind farm off the southwest coast here. So if I just bring up this map, here we go. Now, this is the map of where they're going to put the wind farm. Now, it's supposed to be about 20 something kilometers out to sea. And there are a number of protesters that don't want it here because it's going to be, well, one of them said it's going to be an eyesore. Well, okay. We've got here, this is the view. It's a generated view of what it will look like from a place called Dawesville. Now,
really? The things
there you go. Look, that's them right out at sea.
Wow.
And this one is Bustleton. You can't only well see them. They're over here, I think. See them right in the distance there. It's very hard to actually see them. And off Bunbury, there we go. There's a few. Now, this is what they think that it will look like for this area here. But, I mean, they're complaining that it's a bit of an eyesore.
Wow.
Well, I was actually driving home with my wife today. And without any comment from me or whatever, she said, look at those power lines. Aren't they ugly? Now, that's an eyesore and we're driving underneath them. I mean, I got this off of Google search, this picture. I didn't actually stop and take the picture myself. But that is, to me, ugly. And wind turbines are not ugly. Well, that's my opinion. I mean, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and everything. But to me, people that they use these lovely emotive terms, visual pollution, as though pollution is a bad word. Well, sorry, but I think that the transmission lines that are above ground are visual pollution.
I mean, I think this view looks so much better, right? Like, you know, a typical gas.
That's absolutely beautiful, Chris.
Yes, and I'm just curious as to where all those protesters were when that went up. I'm hoping there were many, because let's face it, gas is bad. But those comments where you've got something that's on a distant horizon that you can barely even see. Okay, so be it.
And of course, our illustrious potato head, leader of the opposition, So I can call him Potato Head because he's got the same haircut as me.
Yeah.
He wants to stick nuclear power plants all over the place.
I know, he's hilarious. I think he's just doing it to stir the pot, isn't he? He knows full well it's going to take at least 15, 20 years for it to be a thing. And that's well and truly before and after his political career. So I think he just does it just to stir the pot.
Well, let's hope so, because if he's actually serious about it, I've got concerns, because it's A, expensive, B, he's talking SMRs, which there is nowhere in the world that has built an SMR yet.
Yeah.
And even China, they've got nuclear power stations, but they don't have much. They've got more solar and wind power now than nuclear.
Yeah, exactly. And they're slowly shifting away from it. Well, not slowly, they're rapidly shifting away from it.
Yes.
And just at a very high level, and we can go into this a lot further, is that look, between the regulatory hurdles they need to face, the community endorsement and consultation, law changes, the actual build program, the commissioning, and then the storage of the nuclear waste. He's just joking that he can even get this through. It will never, ever be legislated, let alone accepted by Australia.
Was it under Howard that when a law was passed to ban nuclear reactor power stations in Australia?
Oh, I can't remember that. Maybe.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that it was. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below.
Yeah. It'd be ironic, right? But look, governments change and leaders change and policy change, and at the end of the day, it's a very, very expensive to build, even more expensive and slow to decommission. And yes, when they are up and running, they use very little, uranium and enriched, power supply. Oh my God, words. And but getting there costs time and money, and all that money we could be throwing at that. We could be saturating our Australian landscape and our energy with renewables. So by the time you've got a nuclear power plant that could potentially power some of Sydney or Melbourne, we're talking what, 3.5 is it gigas? Yeah, gigawatts. It's been a while since gigawatts, which is like a large power plant. That's just 1 year long, and that's 15, 20 years down the road, and by that stage we could have built 20, 30, 40 wind or solar installations and surpassed that. So yeah, he's just trying to keep his friends happy.
Yes. And when you think that you only need, now it was 0.1% of the land covered with solar panels in Australia to supply enough power, and I think it's up to about 1% with wind farms. Now you can stick some of those offshore anyway, and you can provide enough power, and then all you need is the storage, because of course the sun doesn't shine very well at night, does it?
No.
And the wind doesn't always blow, but they're putting in a heap of batteries.
Yep, exactly. And there's things like I love the comments you sometimes see on those articles where people are like, gee, it doesn't always blow, and the sun isn't always shining, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't always rain, yet we can turn taps on and off and actually have drinkable water and have showers and sustain industry. They're called dams. And, there's pumped hydros, and and
we've got the battery storage. There's a lot of different options that are coming through from hot sand and recycling various things. It's just it's because people they've got their narrow view and that's it. I get comments on the channel, oh, I went back to my ice because I had an EV and it was terrible. It cost me more than the petrol car to run, and it took 2 hours to charge up. Now, I know you've just done a video about how much it actually costs. And I mean, my car, my Model Y, is just about to turn over 30,000 kilometers, and I haven't spent $600 on fueling it.
Yeah.
I think that works out to be about half a litre per 100k. I haven't quite done the figures, but off the top of my head, in petrol equivalent.
Wow, that's very impressive.
It's ridiculous. Even if it was double that, 1 litre per 100k, that is still very, very reasonable.
Definitely. And you'll still have someone commenting on the videos like, oh, I run my car at 100 mils per 100 Ks. You know, you must be a lead foot. Oh, mate. Yeah, the video is doing quite well. And
I noticed that it's already close to 30,000 views since you released it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great. Some of the comments, almost all are great, appreciative and really grateful that Car Expert was called out for, a really bit of dodgy journalism. And the story was about what it costs to, travel from Melbourne to Sydney in the BMWs, which is what they did. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Then the story was moot. It was like, no, it didn't cost you nothing because the BMW i7 comes with 5 years of free rapid charging from ChargeBox. In fact, free charging from ChargeBox. So, you can go to the slower sites and, the like 50 kilowatts, say, or even some of the 22 kilowatts might be a small charge. If you go to them as a BMW i7 or an i3 Pro Sport, or even the iX1 Pro Sport, the premium sort of versions, I believe, either 1 or 5 years also with free rapid charging or free charging from ChargeBox. And so very disingenuous of them to actually leave that critical detail out.
Didn't they also try to go to the 350 kilowatt chargers, which are the most expensive?
Yeah, they purposely went to the EV chargers because the Optus network that day was playing up. And recently, soon after, EV networks rather increased the price to the most expensive in Australia for rapid charging. And so between the price hike, which I think was 20% at the time, to become the most expensive one that you could actually use in Australia, along with the network outage and pushing the BMW i7 down to 2%, which as an electric vehicle owner, full well, you do not do that. Always be charging ABCs. Choose a cheaper charging place as well, for goodness sake. And it was free. He went past three ChargeBox rapid chargers. So everything.
And then charged to 100%, and it took hours.
Yeah.
The very first time I took my very first Model 3 5 years ago down south from here, about hour and a half from me, there was the only Tesla supercharger around at the time. And I thought, well, I'm going to stop there and top up, and I'll go and use the bathroom and get a coffee. So I plugged it in, walked down, used the bathroom. I was queuing. I haven't even ordered the coffee. I was queuing for the coffee, and all of a sudden the phone in my pocket's making funny noise. I get it out and said, "You're almost full. Go and move your car." I haven't had my coffee yet. I mean, so it does not take that long. No. Every time I've been on a road trip, that I've plugged the car in and I've gone and had a toilet break, because at my age I need that every 5 minutes, and you go and grab a coffee or a sandwich, you get back to the car and you go, oh, look, I'm up to 75%, unplug it and drive off.
Yep, exactly. Yep. In that magical, 20 to 80% sort of range. Is that what you need? That's what you need. Just, gives you 15, 20-minute charges, you're on your way. I think when I first got into electric vehicles back in 2020, really, I was kind of a bit scared by the car suggesting to me that it's now safe to continue to your next destination, to your next charge spot, right? Because literally it'd just be a 5-minute top up, say, and you're like, really? I'll stay longer, and I'll just stay longer because I just wanted that extra little bit of reassurance.
It's that range anxiety that is always present in new EV owners, and it goes eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Yeah, look, I wouldn't say I don't have range anxiety anymore, but I definitely don't also have range anxiety anymore. It's a bit more about having that contingency of like, okay, this is broken. Where am I going to go? And I've come to trust the Tesla network that it's pretty much always up. There's always one working. I've never gone to a charging destination where it hasn't worked, which is,
You're lucky over east because you got superchargers.
I
I
know.
know I keep harping on about this. I mean,
You're,
we do have 4 or 5 here now, but
yeah, good,
if
good.
you go more than a couple of hours out of Perth, you've got
Mm.
to rely on other EV chargers.
Yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate your troubles because you've got a massive, massive amount of country over there, and it's not very well serviced, really. But it's getting
No, I
there.
mean it where we are in the southwest.
Mm-hmm.
Albany is getting it. We've got one on the way down there, so that's not too bad. Eton, which is Bunbury, Kings Park might be getting one, and going up north, there's one now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for the Tesla superchargers. At least with the WAEV network, which
Yeah.
is going along great guns at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Every 150 to 200 kilometers, there is now an EV charger where
Mm-hmm.
they put also a backup of a destination charger.
No, that's
So
good.
you've got your fast charger, yeah,
Mm.
and then you've got the a backup charger, and they've also got a credit card reader, so you
Oh,
don't have to have multiple apps.
bless. Oh my,
Yes. Oh, isn't it wonderful?
it is
So
wonderful.
yeah, on that map, all the green ones are now live,
Wow.
um, and the orange ones are planned, and they should be done by the end of the year. Keep your fingers crossed.
That's it
So
might. If I remember when that was first announced, and I thought to myself, man, it's going to take ages, but it's actually happening a lot faster.
they're doing very, very well. The in the dark blue area in the southwest, which is the Synergy service area, they've
Mm.
done everything bar 2.
Mm-hmm.
Northam, I think, is being built, and Ravensthorpe. Well, we've had all sorts of troubles with the people in Ravensthorpe, the
No.
council.
Yep.
And out of that, in the light blue area, there's that's Horizon Power. Now, when they were given it initially, it didn't have those 4 across the Nullarbor, Baladonia, Kaiguna, Madura, and Eucla, and they
Mm.
were added in as an extra. So
Mm-hmm.
they were given another 3 or 6 months for that.
Right.
But it's getting there. We can almost travel. What we
Yes.
do need, though, is up and down the middle bit.
The, the,
Well, no, you see,
the
they've done
same
the
way.
coast, but
Yeah.
from around Northern Meridian, there's the Northwest Highway that goes up the middle
Mm.
towards Port Hedland,
Okay.
and there's nothing up there.
Yeah.
You've got to go and find a 10-amp socket to plug into.
Oh, fun times. Fun times.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a few 3-phase 16-amp sockets where you can get your 11 kilowatts out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a bit sparse around there at the moment.
Okay. Oh well, that's pretty good. Oh, it's a good news story there.
So yeah, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think we also want people to write some comments on stories to cover.
Okay. Yep, that'd be good.
If people make comments below and go, why don't you cover ABC, or
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this?
Mm.
That
Yeah,
would
exactly.
be nice.
Or even a bit of a story, sometimes people send me story ideas.
Yes.
They connect through Facebook and stuff like that, or Twitter. So they're always good to know about.
What's Twitter?
Elon Musk affectionately calls it X. I still call it
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yes, I know. Have you X'd recently? Yeah, it
Not,
doesn't sound right. Have you tweeted is still, yes, I
yeah,
agree.
It'll always be in my heart that way. And I definitely have decreased my presence over there because, yeah, I don't
Hmm. Yes, let's go tweet on X.
know. Yes, yes.
Yes. Right. So, what have you got to discuss?
Oh, mate, look, I think probably tying in nicely to everything you've said today, it's just this last week, I think it's been this last week, we've seen a lot of news stories about the decline of electric vehicle sales and that
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it?
yeah, the market has tanked and nobody's buying them. And there's masses and masses of Teslas abandoned at docks somewhere that no one's picking up because nobody wants electric vehicles. Nobody. And
Well,
the
they're
truth,
terrible. They catch fire all the time, don't they?
yes, right. And the actual reality is that no, that's wrong, wrong, and wrong. And I was kind of I thought about doing a story, and one of the regular viewers on the channel, he suggested you got to do something on this, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, no, maybe. I don't. It doesn't deserve because one of the things happened, and I've got a story here that Bridie Schmidt has written. She's now writing for the NRMA, and I believe she used to write for the Driven as well as Renew Economy, and she does great work, and she did a bit of a deep dive, and here's her story here, and
Yeah.
look, there's some takeaway headlines here that, yeah, Tesla's dominance in this market has definitely declined somewhat because we're seeing, get this, BYDs and other car makers, other, people who make electric cars, are actually picking up just a bit. Now,
Oh,
Tesla,
the competition has arrived.
thank goodness, right? But Tesla's still outselling them. And but I think, in my humble opinion, and it is just that, we're seeing tough economic times where inflation is a thing and people can't necessarily afford a premium electric car, and that premium electric car might well be a Tesla or a BMW or a Volvo and stuff like that. So it doesn't surprise me that people are jumping onto the BYD and the MG bandwagon. And they're still actually up this year compared to where they were last year. But when you look at them on a month by month basis and compare one with the last, Bridie notes here, maybe I should try to zoom this in actually, folks. I'm going to try and zoom that in. He zooms. Oh, I went the wrong way. I had two buttons to push and I pressed the wrong one. Can you see that a bit better, Nigel?
Yes, yes.
There we go. So looking at April, this year compared to last, it was 6.4 this year versus 7.9 last year. All right. And so, of course, the media picks up on this because I believe it was actually the May figures that came through, and it was the second month of soft sale figures for electric vehicles. But when you look to the year, we're actually up, and we'll continue to do so. And I was trying to find a really cool graph for this, rebuttal piece that you could easily shoot and probably do a 1 minute short. But unfortunately, I can't find a good graph, and nor can I be stuffed making one. So, doing animations in DaVinci Resolve for YouTube videos, it takes a lot of work. So I didn't really feel like making another slide. But she's got a graph down here. So the BYD Seal, which is a great looking car, by the way, I really do love that. It's a good 1/3 behind the most popular car in the world, if we believe Elon Musk. With the Tesla Model Y still leading the way.
I don't
And,
think you have to believe Elon Musk. I think it's definitely the most popular car in the world
yeah,
for sales.
there you go. So,
The one thing that amazes me about that chart is where is the GWM Aura, which is 35,990. It's the cheapest one to get on the road EV,
yep,
and it's not there.
yep.
Have they not counted it, or is it just not
It's,
selling very well?
I know people are buying them, so they are selling, but maybe it's just not making this table. But look, I am seeing on the road just anecdotally a lot more Kia EV6s, XC40s, and C40s. Not too many Kona electrics, which is a bit disappointing. It's actually a good car. I haven't seen many Dolphins either. But
I've seen only a few dolphins, but I've seen a lot of seals.
same. Yeah. I mean,
And and a few MGs, quite a few Atto 3s.
yeah.
I mean, the BYDs are good cars.
Yeah, exactly. So
And they're a good price.
yeah, exactly. So it's the story is, again, the media is just beating up on that. There's been a softening over the last few months, and we'll come out this year, hopefully better than we were last time, and it's by state, and ACT leads the way. Look at them go! Why is that, folks?
Wonderful.
What incentives? Anyway. So good on you,
Well,
Bridie.
Queensland's got a few incentives, $6,000.
Exactly. But again, the cost of living crisis that we have, it's pretty hard to say to your other half, hey, I'd like to get a really fancy electric car, which, need not cost more than $40,000 or $50,000. So, people are just putting off some of those purchases. Are like, oh, my car's still going. And, I get that. If you can, drive your car till it dies. But if you're gonna change your car, definitely go electric. And the comments on my video, and you've sent it to Nigel, they're like, oh, it'd be nice if I could afford a $70,000 car. It's like, you don't have to buy a $70,000 car. A Toyota, a Corolla, the premium version, the one that's got all the everything thrown into it. That's $46,000. $46,000. You can buy what can you buy, Nige? Tell me. BYD what? MG. MG4.
You can buy an MG4. You can buy almost get an Atto 3 base model for that. They're about close to 50.
Yep.
And you're going to get a Dolphin, obviously. You're going to get an Aura.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be too far off the Model 3 either. The Model Y has come down in price nicely. It's only about $1,000 more than the Tesla Model 3 now.
Definitely massive, right? And I think, geez, I'm really feeling for people who are actually on leases, where they've had the value of the car redone, and that means the balloon is, just change on them, and it's been adverse for them. So yeah, I get the pain for some. There's still really good tax incentives, by the way. So if you're like me, I consider a car a depreciating asset. It just costs money. It doesn't matter what you think of it. You buy it, you drive it out the showroom. Doesn't matter if it's ICE or electric. It's going to devalue straight away.
Yeah, as you drive it out on the road, you can knock 10% off it.
Just accept it and move on, basically. And the value in the future, who knows? We try to keep cars as long as we can. And my Tesla Model Y is the rattles that I really get annoyed by, and the air conditioning that I get annoyed by. Everything else I enjoy, and I'll keep enjoying it for as long as I can. So yeah, that's that one.
I mean, I love my Model Y. I mean, it's only the standard range version, the rear-wheel drive, but it's got the LFP battery, which doesn't catch fire.
What? It doesn't?
No.
No. You don't know this yet, Nigel, but you need to replace the battery every 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I've been told that, and it will cost $25,000 to $30,000. But I've had it for 2 years coming up now. A couple of months, it'll be 2 years old. Oh, yeah. I'll take it back to Tesla and get a new battery.
Exactly. What else is going on? I'll share the screen because there's a few actually interesting stuff that Elon tweeted today, and one I'm excited by, and the other one I've got my back up against about. So bear with me whilst I both share the praise and also put, I think, criticism due where it is due. And they've now commenced it's not written here, but I think people know this. They're now broken ground the last 2 weeks over in China for the Megapack factory, where they're going to be commencing them over there. So that's great. Bit of a hint to it here. So again, coming back to that thing that we are talking about before, how we can power Australia and have electricity overnight, and let's not ignore Tasmania that basically runs on 100% renewable energy all the time, by the way. But this is the interesting one here. This working on the Tesla master plan 4. It will be epic. And viewers out there, do you know the master plan 2 and 3 and the 1 actually for that matter? I only started following Tesla back in the late 2010s, right? So I was late to the party. Elon had been sort of took over Tesla, purchased it up, and steered the way, got the Roadster and did the Model S and the X and all that fun stuff. And I got interested when the Model 3 was announced. I was like, oh my God, an affordable electric car. Yes. All right. I slapped a deposit down for that. I did. I got very excited and I followed it, everything they did. And in the meantime, there was the original master plan where I think the golden line from that one was just between you and me, here's where I'm going to
yes.
go, right?
Yeah, the secret master plan between you and me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was a cute little nod, I think, to the Steve Jobs of, just one more thing, oh, what's this in my back pocket? Oh, look, it's an it was the iPod. That was the iPod he did that with, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Anyway, so master plan 1, 2, 3. 3 was like about 2 years ago now. And that's where they hinted at a cheaper $25,000 car. And that's where they hinted at other stuff, and they did the stupid robot dance.
Oh, I watched that and I got sickened by it.
Yes, same. And I was most embarrassed. And I was like, oh my gosh. But oh my goodness, also they did leaps and bounds in that space. And, in the shareholder meeting that happened, a week or two ago, it seems now Tesla is definitely, it always has been, a technology company, but now they're getting into AI and robotics. And that was my main takeaway from that shareholder meeting. Mind you, I didn't watch it. I did the summary videos, that people do them afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's I was the same. I watched all the summary videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he got his pay package, if you like, reinstated. Although the Delaware court can still say no. And they can also stop the move to Texas because they've still got jurisdiction. So it'll be interesting to see, because they've actually applied to the court to say, oh, all right, now that's got to be all right, hasn't it? So it'll be interesting to see what will happen.
Yeah, definitely. But look, my takeaways from that meeting was that, they're now looking heavily at what the potential is, and definitely is massive potential around computer power, electronics technology, AI, robotics, and that they can actually, with vehicle autonomy, achieve 10 times the value of the company, earning billions of dollars just because of what they can.
He said that it could be a $30 trillion US company in about 10 years or under.
Exactly.
It's mind-boggling. But they're just a car company, remember?
But they're not. That's the thing, though, right? And
yes.
And we'll park that for a second, Nigel, and we'll come back to that, because that's my beef. Okay, so Fremont has now produced more than 6 million vehicles, and it's actually ramped up pretty damn fast, and they've got to be hitting 7 million by the end of this year. That's mighty impressive from, what used to be, it was a Toyota plan. It was, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
It was, yes.
Yeah, Mitsubishi or Toyota, one of those two. I forget who. That, they're now getting out 1,300 Cybertrucks per week. We're coming back to that. Model Wii. Oh my God.
Model Wii.
Model
a
Wii.
Nintendo Wii.
I am a gamer at heart, by the way. And so the Wii's have got a real place here for me. So yes, the Model Y is definitely the best selling vehicle globally. So well done there. And the robots are going to take over. The robots are going to take over. Yeah,
and Robotaxi.
The robots are going to be your companion, your teacher, your factory worker. We knew the factory worker. That was a no-brainer. They don't take sick leave or ask for annual leave and go for smokers every 5 minutes. So it just makes perfect sense. And when you can cost them at less than the car, about what, 20 grand, I think you said, yeah, 20,000, that I would have a robot. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
he
you
said
very
it's going to cost 10,000 to build and sell them for 20.
Yep, yep. And
That's a
yeah,
good markup.
massive, massive, right? But here's my beef. Okay, here's my beef. So the master plan. All right. Well, we've done number 3. There's a lot of promise, and it's just I feel very little delivered. Sure, the AI and the robotic stuff and what we're seeing with FSD beta in America, very excited. But the actual hardware, no, no. So Elon this last week said in all certain terms there is no going to be no Model Y refresh this year. So just calm your farm, folks. A lot of the forums you'll see people asking, should I buy Model Y now? The price is so good. Do you think it's because there's a new one coming? And sure, they did a very slight refresh with the change of the rims and stuff like that and a few little details, but otherwise it's the same car.
They do that with their cars anyway.
Yeah, or always iterating. Yes, yeah. But there's got to be no major refresh like we saw with the Model 3. So that's confirmed. So thank you, Elon, for probably dispelling that myth and probably getting some more sales in the Model Y. So good job.
Well, yeah, it's the Osborne effect. If he'd have said, yeah, the refresh is going to come out in December, you can see what would happen to the sales. They'd plummet.
They would, wouldn't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. But just the master plan means for naught when you don't actually deliver. And I'm absolutely wanting that $25,000 American, $40,000 Tesla. That's what I'm waiting for, and I want to see what the dedicated cyber taxi is going to be. I'm excited by that idea, but they're just not coming. It keeps on getting pushed back and pushed back. And with the Tesla Cybertruck, they've had their issues to sort through with quality control and panels, and accelerator pedals getting stuck under the driveway.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, bad stuff.
You get that in any ramp up of a car.
Mhm.
You just look at what happened originally with, say, the Model 3. Panel gaps were terrible, but then they fine-tuned it and they got it down to be okay.
Yeah. So, I just wish that instead of doing this imagining and talking about the potential for a company, and that's great to have vision and all, but a lot of people put the so much into that. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get, people in Australia, we still haven't got FSD beta like Americans seeing. And, I know they've been testing it in Australia, but, the indications so far is Europe will be next. It might well need regulatory approval here. Depends who you ask. Don't go on the forums and ask that questions because you'll get blamed to death. Don't bother. And just they're either overstretched and they can't resource enough, or conversely, they're way too American centric. I believe firmly in that. They're definitely way too American centric. Anyone who asks me, you're not going to see the Cybertruck before 2027 anywhere in the world. It's going to take them 3 years to even satiate the American market, let alone think about bring it to others. And when they've got the Master Plan 3 and the $25,000 vehicle and the robo taxi, and just deliver on them, Elon. Just stop. Anyway. So there you go. That's my rant for the day.
Look, I mean, I can't wait for FSD supervised, or whatever you're going to call it. But in August, I am actually at the end of July, I am in America. I am hiring a Model Y and off Turo. And I've asked the guy to put on FSD supervised for me.
Nice.
I'm going to try it when I'm there. I'm really looking forward to that, because I've got about a 3-hour drive from where I pick it up to where I'm going to see a friend of mine.
Wow.
And I want to be able to plug in the thing and go, right, go sit back and watch and see how it goes.
That'd be exciting.
Yes, I've been looking at a few of those videos of people using FSD. Whole Miles Catalog, one of them. Omar's doing quite well with it there. So, I'm looking forwards to that. 4 or 5 days driving around a Model Y using FSD supervised, of course, and I'll be paying attention. I won't be having a sleep in the back seat.
No, no, don't you dare, don't you dare.
No.
Anyway, so that's it from me. So yeah, thank you, Nige.
Look, it's great to catch up with you again, Chris. So hopefully we're going to plan on doing this every week, just to chat. And as I said before, if people want to suggest some topics, by all means, stick it in the comments or send us messages. And don't forget, while you're making a comment down there, there's that like and subscribe on either Chris's channel or mine, and click those. Thank you very much.
Cool. All right, excellent. All right, well, thank you, Nigel, and I'll be seeing you next week. I should do that there. I'll say it.
Yes.
See you. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Chris. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye. Definitely a rehearsal. There we go. All right, we're back. Here we go. All right, we're back. Nigel and I got all nerdy and started talking editing. I hopefully cut that bit out. And if you want to know more, just just go back 1 month and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, hope you're all well. So thanks so much for your support and really do appreciate it. Nigel, you want to say something? Say goodbye.
Yes. Thank you very much, Chris. I hope that we managed to make this a weekly thing, and yes, it'll be weekly. Maybe.
Maybe. We'll try. We'll see how we go.
We'll try.
Right, well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, next week I'll be ready.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, we'll get more polished as we go along.
Yeah,
this was our very first attempt.
Yep, exactly. All right, with that, we'll say adieu, good night, and have a lovely evening over in WA. And I'll see you next week.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Chris. See ya.
Cheers.